All right, it's ready for power-ups. All right, count by 12s to 96. So we have to go a little further today, and count by 6s to 96. Yahoo! All right, here we go. So 12 is our first one. Then we have 24. Then we have 36. Then we have 48. And then we have 60. And then 72 and 84 and 96. So that wasn't too bad. Then we go by 6s. So we're going to pass and these same numbers as we go. We got 6, 12, 18, 24, then 30 and 36, and then 42 and 48, and then 54, and then 60, and then 66, and then 66, and then 72, and then 70, and then 78. This is a little bit more work for me. This is great. Then 84, and then 84 to 90, and then 96. So 90 and 96. There we go. Whew, that was a little more work. Cool. How many months are in half a year? A year and a half. And half a year is 6, a year and a half, that's 18. So we're counting by 6s here. That's what this is helping us with that. And then how much money is 4 quarters? How much money is 5 quarters? How much is 6 quarters? So we're counting by 25 cents here. So we have $1, $1.25, and $1.50. And then cost of one video game is $42. What is the cost of 10 video games? So that would be 42 times 10, which would just add a 0. You have 420. And then 50% of 40 is 20. 25% of 40 is 10. And 10% of 40 is 4. And I'm going to skip the rest. I'm going to go to the next thing. And our concept is, when do you need an exact amount to describe a situation? You can round numbers to a specific place value. All right, so attendance at a game, it was 614. If I rounded it to the nearest 100, I'd have 600. Price of shoes usually would round up because it's going to cost us more, not less, usually with taxes and things. Numbers that rounded usually end in 1 or more zeros when it's been rounded, which totally makes sense because you've rounded it, or you may have rounded it to the nearest 5. So it's either going to be a 5 or a 0, I would say. So yeah, here we go. So we're just talking about rounding. And this is good. Rounding to the nearest 100. Is this closer to 500 or 600? And you can see on the number line it's definitely closer to 500. Example number 2, we're looking at electoral votes and estimates. So I'm making sure this isn't stuff that we need to have or pay attention to. Go ahead and pause and read this through. Then, now that you're back, see what's useful in the next part. Go ahead and pause and read example number 3. All right, there's a nice big close view. And then, so big things to remember here. We're finding the difference. So we're doing some subtraction here after we've rounded. So 620 rounds to 600 and 121 to 100. So here we go. We've got some comparing after it's been rounded. So it's an estimates. You don't need to pause and read this one. It's just more estimating and information, I guess. All right. On to the lesson. This is lesson 33. We are going to do odds. Oh, one more thing. It looks like we have one more thing here. We're talking about, figuring out approximately how much money it costs for gallons. This is where you would definitely use your estimating, and you want to estimate on the high side. So, but what they've done here, instead of changing 129 to 130, they changed 129 to 128. Well, they went down, but still gives it, well, that's actually good because it's talking about 121 miles and use 4 gallons. They're actually rounding down, which means it's going to go, they're assuming it's going to go less, not as far. It's going to go 128 miles instead of 129, which gives us room for a mistake. All right, next we're going to start here. This is lesson 33 again. Nope, 34. Nope, 33. I got it here. 33. So it's supposed to be odds. And it looks like we'll just go ahead and start out with odds. I don't see that we need to do a bunch. There's no thing. So we'll just go 1 to 29 odd for this one. All right. One day. Draw a pair of vertical parallel lines. Review of lesson 31. You can do that one. Use your answer to problem 2 to estimate the product of this. Uh-oh, we have to answer this to do number 3. So it looks like we have to do 1, 2, 3, and then 5 to 29, comma there. 5 to 29 odds. So I'll have to change that. All right, and then we're skipping 4, going to 5. Keisha was standing in the line and had 20 people in it, including herself. That is an important thing to remember right there. It's a great way to confuse people. So 20, how many? 21, because there's 20 people in it, including herself. Or is that adding to herself? Let me check real quick. Okay, got it. It isn't 21. It's just 20. So the point is that she's in the line, and they're telling you where she is at in the line. So really think that one through. If there are 5 people in front of her, you need to figure out where she was. So if you have a number line, this is probably the easiest way to figure it out. You're going from 1 to 20, and if you need more room, make yourself more room. And let's say there's nobody there, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Ooh, I did not make my line very good or plan it very well. So that's what I would do to do this, though. Make a number line and then go by ones all the way to 20 maybe, if you want. Or you can count backwards from 20 anyways. You'll figure it out. It's not as simple as you think. All right, number 7. After paying $7.50 for a movie ticket, Salvador still had $3.75. How much money did Salvador have before paying for the ticket? After paying that much, he had this much left. So I would use a formula here. It looks like he had sum minus sum equals this. So he had sum. We'll just put an S for some money. And he paid $7.50. Keep dotting in the wrong spot. $7.50. And after that, he had $3.75 left. So 3.75. So here you've got there's your thing, and then you compare. You can use the family, the plus and the minus family to figure this out. Remember, S minus 750 equals 375, or S minus 350 equals, or 375 equals 750, or 750 plus 375 equals S, or 375 plus 750 equals S. So there's your family. I'm not going to write it down today. Add. And number 9, number 11 is subtracting. Oof, you have to borrow. Don't remember to regroup. 13, oh, you have to regroup on that one. 15, it doesn't look like you need to regroup or anything. Oh, no, there's no regrouping. I'm sorry, that's timesing on 13, so you don't have to worry about regrouping. You just have to multiply and add a 0 because you're multiplying times 90, all right? And then what else do we have? 15, multiplying again. You need to add 2 zeros to your answer because you have 2 zeros on the end here. You do not have to multiply by the zeros at first. You just have to pay attention to 8 times 9 is 72. And then you have to carry the 7. 7 times 8 is 56, plus 7 is 63. And add this. And 8 times 4 is 32, plus 6 is 38. And then add your 2 zeros and put in your comma. All right. There's 15 and 17 is, remember the fact family here. 6m, or m times 6 equals $5.76. So if I invert it, switch it around, I have m divided into 5. Oops, this doesn't look good because of that there. So scroll down a little bit more. Remember, m divided into 5.76 equals 6.00. So what would it be? So I have to figure that one out. I would actually switch it around. I go 6 divides into 5.76. All right. There you go. And M has a decimal. 6 is not a decimal. Anyways, moving on. Okay. Next one, 19. PEMDAS. Whenever I see parentheses right here, I think PEMDAS. I do parentheses first, so I do whatever this is, and then I go from left to right. I go this way after I've done the first step. 21, we write a fraction, and if you, oh wow, this is kind of very obvious one is write a fraction for the the circle is shaded. You can use, it's divided into 4 parts. You can do this if you want, or you can put it over 2 because it's just 1/2 of the thing. Anyways, what decimal part of the circle is shaded? And I know you can figure that out, is more than or less than 25% of the circle shaded? That's a great question. If there are 4 in there, that would be each one of those squares equals 25%. So if each one equals 25%, is more of it in shaded or less? 23, write the time that is 1/4 after 1 in the afternoon. So this is where you would remember your quarter. So the minute hand is here, the hour hand is at the 1. So what would that be in terms of a time? 1 and how many minutes? All right. 25, what is the 10th term of this counting sequence? So the next term is what? 721 is 28. That is not the answer. They want the 10th term. This is the 1, 2, 3, 4th term. So we want the 10th term. 4 times 7 is 28. So how am I going to find the 10th term? I think you got it. Write the factors of 7 and 28. Circle the common factors. So factors of 7 and 8. 7 is prime, right? So we have 1, 7, and then figure out the factors of 28. So if you need to, you can use a factor tree, or you can just count it out in your head, but I'm going to show you a factor tree because that's more likely that you catch everything this way. There are 2 and 14, and then 2 doesn't break down anymore, but 14 does. So I'll let you finish that, and then you write down, and then you only need to write down the 2 once. You don't have to write it down twice because it's 2 times something for 14, all right? Now, and what you would do is you do 7. This is for 7, and here are the factors for 28. Do it like this, and I have 2, and then I have 7, and I have 14. And the common ones are, and I have 1. Don't forget 1. So I'd circle this, and I would circle this. All right? Make it look pretty. Now we're on 29, Main Street, Allen Street, and you intersect at a traffic light. The 2 streets form square corners where they meet. Draw a segment to show how Main Street and Allen Street meet. So you can just do this and then draw the segment there that makes it square. And which of these words best describes the segment in your drawing? Is it parallel? Is it perpendicular? Is it oblique? Or is it horizontal? And you're done. Cool. Have a great day.